Are you applying to become a police constable in England or Wales? If so, one of the most challenging parts of the process is the new police briefing exercise updated for 2025. But don't worry, in this video, I'll explain exactly how it works, break down a sample scenario, and give you tips to help you pass with confidence. Let's start with what the exercise actually involves. Well, the exercise is part of the Police Online Assessment Centre. You'll step into the role of a police constable and deal with a realistic scenario. And later on in this video, I will give you an example scenario that you can practice with. You'll be given information in stages and asked 12 questions in total. I'll show you what I mean by that later on, but essentially you're given a scenario, you're given some information, you're given some questions, and then you'll move on to the next part of the exercise where you're given further information and then some further questions, and that repeats once more. All the answers that you give need to be verbally given, just as if you were talking to an assessment panel in real life. However, you're doing this from your home to a camera where you're recording your answers. You're not actually talking to someone live. Each stage of the exercise gives you more information about the situation, just like I mentioned earlier, and your job is to respond calmly, professionally, and in line with the police competencies and values. You're probably already very familiar with the competencies and values, but I cannot stress enough how important they are to your success in becoming a police officer and passing each stage of the assessment process, whether that's the interview stages, whether it's the police briefing exercise, the police written exercise. You need to understand the competencies and values, and you need to understand how you can demonstrate them clearly and confidently throughout the process. And this ties in nicely to the next part of the training. Before we look at an example police briefing exercise together and break it down, we need to understand how you will be assessed. What competencies and values will you be assessed against in the police briefing exercise? And just very quickly, before we do that, please tell me the name of the constabulary that you are applying to in the comment section below the video, and I'll give you some additional tips to help you. Thank you. Oh, and please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. We have helped thousands of aspiring police officers in the UK for 20 years. I want to help you become a police officer, and I can only do that if you are subscribed. And please don't forget to hit that like button, because that tells me you find these tutorials useful and it motivates me to create more content for you. Okay, what are you assessed on? Well, you'll be assessed against the Competencies and Values Framework, or CVF, specifically these 4 areas: the value of public service, the competencies of we are emotionally aware, we take ownership, and we are innovative and open-minded. I give plenty of training on these competencies on my channel. Please take a look if you need a breakdown of these in detail. I highly recommend it. If you are serious about passing the process, take a look at my latest police interview training video where I go over these competencies in detail at the end of the video. That's a really great way to learn all of the competencies and values here. But these 4 behaviours here, the value of public service, we're emotionally aware, we take ownership, we are innovative and open-minded, are the behaviours that you need to show in your answers in the police briefing exercise. So let's now take a look at a sample scenario based on a shopping centre exercise. Here is the information that you are given. You're called to a shopping centre where a group of young people is loitering, playing music, and making customers feel uncomfortable. They're not breaking the law, but shop owners are losing business and want something done. You'll then be asked the first 4 questions. So for example, in round 1, the questions that you may be asked are: what are the issues that need highlighting? How would you approach the group? How would you resolve concerns from both the shop owners and the young people? What challenges could arise and how would you handle them? Now pause the video here and give these some thought, because we're going to take a look at some of the suggested answer points on the next slide. But I want you to think about this for yourself, see how you can apply both logic and demonstrate those values and competencies in your answers. And when you're ready, let's move on to the suggested answer points for round 1. So here's that text again, and here are some suggested answer points. I'm not going to give you exactly what you could say in detail in this video because we don't have enough time to do that. But if you want the full answers and all the practice questions, then you can use the link in the description or in the comment below the video to get my 7 briefing exercise scenarios and the fully worked answers. However, here is how you might answer. You could acknowledge the disruption and the concerns of the shop owners. You could approach the group calmly, introduce yourself, and explain why you are there. You could use non-confrontational language and show empathy. That's really important. Showing empathy is a brilliant way to impress the assessors throughout the process. Offer alternatives for where they can go or how they can behave in a way that is less disruptive. Essentially, what you need to do is show that you can balance public needs with youth engagement. Let's move on to round 2 of this situation. The situation now escalates. New information has come in. A resident says the group has been gathering daily and their behaviour is escalating. One customer felt unsafe after a rude comment. You are now asked 4 more questions. Question number 5 is this: how would you change your approach? What strategies would you use? How would you prevent future issues? Would you involve anyone else? Let's take a look at some suggested answer points based on this new information. This is where you can show emotional awareness and innovation. You might involve youth services or community support officers. You could suggest a follow-up with business owners or a long-term community engagement plan. Now, it escalates even further in round 3. Weapon reported. A member of the public reports someone in the group has a knife. Your priorities now shift to public safety. So this has clearly escalated further and you're now asked 4 more questions. What are your priorities now? How would you approach the group? What actions would you take if the weapon is found? How would you prevent similar issues in the future? Again, let's have a look at some suggested answer points based on this new information and this new escalation, which is obviously very serious. Here, you could say how you would stay calm and you wouldn't single out anyone too quickly. And you would speak in a way that doesn't escalate tensions. You would call for backup if needed. If a weapon is found, detain safely, inform the public, and offer reassurance. Now, this is obviously a very brief overview of some of the suggested answer points. I'm not saying in any way this is completely comprehensive. I'm just giving you an idea of what you can do. And as I mentioned, if you want to get the full answers and the full scenarios in detail and in more depth, I've put that in the description below. Now, here are my top tips for success when doing the police briefing exercise. Make sure you stay calm and structured in your answers. Show empathy, especially when dealing with young people or distressed individuals. Be proactive and solution focused, and always reflect the CVF competencies and values in your responses, specifically the 4 that I mentioned earlier, the 1 value of public service and those 3 competencies. Now, if you want more help with the police briefing exercise, visit howtobecome.com or click that link in the top right hand corner of the video to get our full set of 7 practice scenarios with model answers. This guide covers the new police values and competencies that you'll be assessed against based on the 2025 CVF framework. This is the ultimate guide to prepare with for your upcoming assessment. You can literally have access within 2 minutes from now, and it is guaranteed to help you prepare effectively for your police online assessment centre, and also, more importantly, put you ahead of the competition. Make sure you check out that link, and don't forget to subscribe for some more expert guidance on police recruitment. Please also hit that like button, as that encourages me to make more videos like these. If you have any questions regarding any police constabulary or any stage of the assessment process or the police briefing exercise, do let me know in the comment section below, where I will get back to you with even more tips and advice. And finally, don't forget to connect with me on LinkedIn. I put my LinkedIn link in the description below. It's always great to connect with like-minded professionals there, such as yourself. Good luck and thank you for watching.